relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Former WBO featherweight champion Heather Hardy. She says, I believe I deserve a shot at one of those world titles.
See if she don't get one.
It was my first fight with a new corner, said Hardy. I had the same coach for my very first amateur fight, and then my last fight came, and it was scary. I didn't know if it was for me. I kind of wanted to prove to myself that I could go out on a high note. Hardy won a unanimous decision over a battle-tested Calista Salgado with Hector Roca and Henry De Leon in her corner. It was October the 13th. By December, the 82-year-old Roca was in the hospital, and Hardy was spending a good part of her days with her coach and friend she called Papa. There was no talk of the next fight for Hardy, only for Roca, who regardless still had her shadow boxing in his hospital room 2 days before Roca passed on January 3rd. As the two watched golf on TV, he did bring up the prospect of another fight for the heat.
It's unfortunate her trainer passed away.
Roca said, everyone thinks you're past your prime, but I don't think you've hit it yet, Hardy recalled. I don't think you hit it yet, and I think 2023 is going to be your year. And it just sat with me. So after he passed away, promoter Larry Goldberg called me and said, I'm gonna do the show. I feel like a second wind, so to speak. Yeah, this can be my year if I make it my year. So here I am. On February 23rd, another Thursday at Sony Hall, Hardy keeps her dream of another world championship alive when she faces Taina Cardozo. It's not the type of fight that will garner the Brooklynite a shot at a belt, but in some ways it's more important than that because she's dedicating it to Roca, a veteran of over 40 years in the game, who always found time for anyone.
What are the odds that Heather Hardy fights for an alphabet title at these weights? Because I believe she's campaigning as a lightweight now. That's where Katie Taylor reigns as undisputed champion.
Won't be easy to get the shot, though. Nothing worth having comes easy. A few people recently asked me, why are you gonna box? You can write a book. You can do this. And I'm not ready to write the movie because we have to end it happy. And losing my world title is not the way we close the movie. I'm not done with boxing yet. And I don't feel like my life to date is finished with this part of my story. We're not ready because I haven't moved on from this section. How she moves on is contingent upon one thing, getting a world title. And Hardy is not picky about who she takes one from or what weight class. So from featherweight to lightweight, she's aiming for anyone and everyone. I made a decision after my last fight. Am I going to do this again? And my answer is yes. And, of course, I'm not going to just do small shows for the rest of my career. My idea is at 126, 130, and 135. There are three undisputed champions sitting on the crown. Amanda Serrano at 126, Alicia Baumgartner at 130, and Katie Taylor at 135. I would be really disrespectful to even talk about who I want to fight because I have a fight coming up. And that obviously takes precedence. But yes, most certainly, after this fight, I'm looking at 126, 130, or 135. Whoever will have me. I feel like even though I'm just coming back and I've just had these two small fights, my history, my legacy, and my resume speaks for itself. And I believe I deserve a shot at one of those world titles. It's a probability that Heather Hardy can win one of those alphabet titles at one of those weights, 126, 130, and 135, given the champions that are already there.
To win the titles from one of those champions.
Well, the featherweight division's undisputed champion, Amanda Serrano, says, I truly believe wholeheartedly Heather Hardy deserves another shot at a world title. She was honorable enough to give me a shot at her title when she was champion. And if after my fight versus Katie she still feels the same, I'd be willing to give it to her. Good luck, champ. And I got you.
Amanda's a really nice lady once you get to know her.
I believe that she would give Heather Hardy a shot. The thing is, I don't believe that the second fight would go any differently than the first one did. The first fight that took place many years ago. Amanda won a lopsided decision against a very game and a very tough Heather Hardy. I like Heather, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that I like Heather's chances against Amanda in a rematch. I think the second fight would go the same way the first one did.
That's what I think.
I think the probability of success for Heather Hardy to win a title at featherweight, so long as Amanda's champion, the probability is low.
Tack on that Heather Hardy hasn't made featherweight in a while, 126?
She hasn't made that weight in years. My body of work, my fan base, it all makes sense, said Hardy. I'm not out here calling for something I don't think I deserve. I have a big fan base. I'm popular. God knows I sell tickets, and I'm a name that people recognize. So I'm not out here calling anyone out. I'm more asking for a shot at 126, 130, and 135. Whoever will have me first. In the meantime, there's business to tend to in New York City on February 23rd. For Papa, 2 weeks ago I walked into the coffee shop and I bought him breakfast, said Hardy. It just came natural to me. Every single day, Hector would meet me at the door and put his arm around me. And we would sit down and I'd give him his coffee and his breakfast and he would remind me of things, almost like he wanted me to be okay without him. He knew that the time was gonna come when he wasn't gonna be here. So he would say the same things every single day. And I really know that he's with me right now. I feel him with me when I'm sparring, when I'm running, when I'm training. People say that when loved ones die unexpectedly, they become your angels. And I really feel that way about him. I know he wanted the best for me.
Heather's best bet at fighting for a world title, not just fighting for a world title, but winning one, lies at 130 pounds.
Not 126 and not 135, 130.
Not 126 because I don't think she can beat Amanda in a rematch.
And not 135 because I don't think she can beat Katie either. Tack on that Katie's busy. Katie's about to fight Amanda.
They're both busy, actually, so that rules out 135 and 126.
130 is the best bet. 130 is the ticket. And it's not opposite the ring, Alicia Baumgartner. I don't actually think she can beat Alicia Baumgartner, but what I do think is Alicia is about to move up. And I do think she may vacate all of those alphabet titles she just won at 130 pounds. When she does, there's Heather's opportunity.
There's her chance. That's her best bet to fight for an alphabet title between 126 and 135. It's 130.
After Alicia moves up, after Alicia vacates, which could be within this calendar year.
But now Heather's supposed to be in action later on this month.
Against Cardozo, and she's got to win that fight. At this age, every fight is a must-win fight.
Every fight.
Gotta take care of business in a couple of days and we'll see what the future holds. It's ambitious.
Heather's probability of success is contingent upon a few outlying factors.
So let's see how the cookie crumbles. Men's lightweight news. Undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney says, I might move up to 140 pounds to fuck Teofimo Lopez up.
Devin's got the good fortune of having a deep talent pool between 135 and 140. Good guys, good fights to choose from.
Beyond this upcoming Vasily-Lomachenko fight, ain't no match yet. Might just come to 140 and fuck you up. Haney recently said to Lopez on Twitter in response to Lopez saying, I got work to do here at 140. I pray you enjoyed your 5 minutes of fame. Haney twice beat former Lopez conqueror George Kambosos in 2022.
Beat him decisively.
Remember, you chose Kambosos to whoop your ass instead of me. Went in a different direction and it almost costed you your life. Gotta make smart choices, said Haney.
Both of these guys got super fights en route. Devin's supposed to be fighting Vasily-Lomachenko in defense of his undisputed crown.
Teofimo Lopez, he's supposed to be getting his crack at Josh Taylor's WBO title, the opportunity to become a two-division champion and have something to bring to the table.
To a Devin Haney fight.
Teofimo's super lightweight campaign has been received with mixed reviews. Decent showing against Campas, not so decent against Sandor Martin.
Josh Taylor's next.
That kid's making friends with everybody. Back and forth bobs were incessantly traded between Devin and Teofimo, but a bout between them never came close to materializing. Now that Lopez and Haney both fight under the top-ranked banner, there will be fewer hurdles to navigate moving forward, if the fight is ever going to happen. Lopez already has 2 fights under his belt in the super lightweight division. He scored a 7th-round knockout against Pedro Campa in August and a split decision win against Sandor Martin in December.
Got Josh Taylor to contend with now.
And unless I'm mistaken, Haney versus Loma and Lopez versus Taylor, the both of those fights, I believe they're supposed to be happening in the same month, the month of May.
April and May are going to be busy months all around.
Busy months all around. There's a cluster, a proliferation of meaningful fights, significant fights happening in the month of April and May.
We're still waiting on the official word, the announcement. The official announcement as to when Devin and Loma are going to fight with each other before it even becomes about Teofimo Lopez.
What's dragging the negotiations? Like, why is it taking so long?
Ladies and gentlemen, here from the Fox Theater in Pomona.
I think we don't have a problem. I think we don't have. So we need to sign and start fighting. So now they're working on the small details. That's it.
So what are some other demands that Devin has made? Some other demands that Devin has made. Devin Haney.
Warriors, a huge round of applause.
It's not a question about me or Haney. It's just promoter and television, TV. That's it.
According to Vasily-Lomachenko, in so many words, both he and Devin have already reached amicable terms, and all that's left to work out are the finer details between the promoter and the network. What's left to deal with
Between Top Rank and ESPN, and who knows what that is.
You know, I very recently heard Bob Arum say that they want to match the winner of this fight, the winner of Haney versus Lomachenko, against Shakur Stevenson, provided Shakur wins his next fight.
Next fight set to go down April 8th opposite the ring, Japan's own Yoshino.
Took a bit of doing to get Shakur Stevenson a fight. They tried for George Kambosos, they tried for Isaac Cruz.
And I didn't think any of those fights would happen, given the circumstances. They wouldn't happen, they didn't happen.
But this is about to in a little over a month's time. And if Shakur secures a W, makes it past this guy, according to Bob Arum, he's supposed to be fighting the winner of Haney versus Lomachenko.
Yeah, the plan is for him to fight the Haney Loma winner. I mean, if Haney wins, he's talking about going to 140, so that makes a vacant title for Shakur. But if Loma wins, then Loma and Shakur is a fight that I would pay all kinds of money to watch.
That's the latest from Bob Arum, and that's more or less what I figured. The only way Stevenson fights the winner of Lomachenko versus Haney is if the winner is Vasyl Lomachenko, because if the winner is Devin Haney, I don't think Devin sticks around at 135 pounds.
Can't be getting easier to make that weight over time. Devin's very young and his body is still growing.
I believe that this upcoming Vasyl Lomachenko fight, when it's officially announced, could very well be his final fight in the men's lightweight division. Win or lose.
Whereas if Vasyl Lomachenko wins, he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay right there at lightweight, and he'll defend the titles against Shakur Stevenson.
I guess it's just a question of who do you think is going to win? Do you think Loma's going to win? Do you think Devin's going to win?
Who wins?
Because the only way I see Shakur Stevenson fighting the winner of this fight is if the winner is Vasyl Lomachenko. Win or lose, I don't think Devin's staying at lightweight. I think he's very close to outgrowing that division.
To this fight, I anticipate he's going to move up. Maybe he fights Teofimo Lopez at some point once he gets up there.
Provided that Lopez beats Josh Taylor for the WBO title.
I feel like Vasyl Lomachenko has some of the right ingredients to beat a pure boxer like Devin Haney. In turn, I feel like Devin Haney has some of the right ingredients to beat Teofimo Lopez.
A boxer puncher, a counter puncher.
Styles make fights, that's what they say, and Top Rank just so happens to be making quite a few fights.
Yeah, Vasyl Lomachenko being a southpaw and a prolific puncher, a busy one with a high work rate that only picks up as the fight progresses.
You can give a pure boxer a hard time
by forcing that pure boxer to work, applying a bit of pressure by crowding him in the pocket. Pure boxer wants to keep it long and loose and from the outside. So Lomachenko, he's a mid-range to inside guy.
Got some of the right ingredients for Devin. In turn, Devin's got some of the right ingredients for Teofimo Lopez.
Teofimo Lopez is a pretty good counterpuncher. Decent one. But opposite the ring, a pure boxer like a Devin Haney, a defensively responsible one. It's not going to make very many mistakes for you to capitalize on.
Well, you just saw what he looked like with a pure boxer in Sandor Martin. That's what Sandor Martin is.
I don't think Sandor's as good a boxer as Devin Haney per se, but you see what I'm talking about. Teofimo didn't look good in that fight, and to some people, he didn't deserve the decision.
Against the pure boxer of a higher grade, a higher caliber of pure boxer. What's that going to do to Teofimo?
We may get the answers to a lot of these questions very soon. It's a very exciting time between 135 and 140 pounds.
Just speaking of 140 pounds.
Jack Catterrall on Regis Prograis negotiations. Talks are ongoing now. I believe we're not too far off. As long as Regis is happy and accepts the fight, I don't think we're a million miles away. Most definitely, I'd take that fight next. I'm not interested in a tune-up.
I guess we have our answer.
Ever since this news broke, I wondered whether or not this would be Jack Catterall's next fight, because it really doesn't behoove him to fight somebody like this next. And I'm not protesting, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Jack Catterall hasn't fought since the Josh Taylor fight, and the Josh Taylor fight was a year ago.
He hasn't fought in the last 12 months. Regis Prograis has. He was in action not that long ago opposite the ring, another southpaw like himself and like Jack Catterall in Jose Zepeda.
That was a battle with the southpaws. So is this.
I don't think Jack Catterall punches harder than Jose Zepeda.
You see what Regis Prograis did to Jose Zepeda.
Regis Prograis, who shares a common opponent with Jack Catterall in Tosh Jailer.
Both Regis and Jack shared the ring with Josh, and both Regis and Jack, at least on paper, they lost decisions to that guy. I've heard it said in the subsequent years that followed, the Taylor versus Prograis fight, that it was a fight that could have gone either way.
I've heard that.
And I heard the outcry after last year's fight between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall that Jack won the fight. Jack should have got the nod. He should have got the decision. I myself scored the fight for Jack, so they got more things in common than just being southpaws.
Yeah.
Regis and Jack.
Yeah.
Jack Catterall, whose best weapon in that Josh Taylor fight seems to have been his lead hand, his jab hand, his right hand.
Josh Taylor couldn't seem to stay out of the way of that thing.
Regis Prograis can. I think he can. Regis Prograis, who characteristically angles off.
He keeps his head off center.
Slip and counter, roll and counter. That's Regis Prograis' calling card, you know.
He's a very capable, mid-range to inside guy who's actually more defensively responsible than people realize. Most of the time, Regis is brought up, all you hear about is his punching power.
He has a lot of power. That's what makes him dangerous. But he's not just a power guy. He's not just a puncher.
Not just.
I want to say that Jack Catterrall, in spite of what he showed us in the Josh Taylor fight, I don't think he's going to have that same luck with Regis Prograis.
I think Jack fought the fight of his life opposite the ring, Tosh Taylor, in tandem with good timing. I think he caught him at the right time, at a time when that guy was coming off an injury.
And I think it was a knee injury. Josh Taylor is a more injury-prone, sparsely active fighter than he used to be, and I think that Jack was just in the right place at the right time. He had the right ingredients.
It was happenstance.
Shit happenstance. It may seem a bit harsh to say that Jack Catterrall was a rather unremarkable, unbeaten up-and-comer going into that Josh Taylor fight, and that's why Josh was so widely favored to beat him.
That's the best Jack Catterrall we've ever seen.
I don't think that's the Jack we're going to get opposite the ring, Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis, who's no stranger to sharing the ring with southpaws. He took one on in Ndongo, Julius Longdongo, many years ago. Obviously, he fought Josh Taylor. More recently, he fought Jose Zepeda.
Jack being a southpaw, I don't think that's going to bother him.
I don't think the jab will either. As Regis Prograis, he's got a pretty good jab of his own, and he keeps it working. He's busy with the lead hand.
Busy with the jab.
Regis, whose base style ain't that dissimilar from Teofimo Lopez's base style. You know, they got counterpunching in their repertoire, with the difference being that Regis is a more prolific puncher. He's not just waiting on the opportunity to get off a hard shot. Using his jab, using his lead hand, he creates opportunities.
He's busier in the round than, say, a Teofimo Lopez or a Javante Davis, because he uses his jab more.
He's busier in the round. At least to the eye, he is.
I like his chances.
If he takes on this fight and they reach a deal, they agree to fight, he flies to the UK, he takes this guy on Sky Sports' dime.
He stops this guy.
I think he stops Jack Catterrall. And what a statement that would be for Regis if he did.
There is a redeeming element to this fight. The fact that Josh Taylor, who beat Regis Prograis, in the eyes of many, he didn't beat Jack Catterrall.
Let alone stop him. Imagine if Regis does.
That's a statement.
So I like Regis' chances. I like him to win.